Okay, this is the first stage of making pepper steak pies. Pepper steak, well, we start with steak. This is called a Texan steak, which we get here in South Africa. It's a huge hunk of meat, and it's already spiced, nice and thick. It's a bit cheaper than normal steak, so that's what I use for my pepper steak. So I'm going to cut this up into chunks, and then we're going to cook it in the pressure cooker for about 20 minutes so that it can get nice and soft. See, it's a nice thick steak. All I'm going to do is cut it into chunks like that. And throw it in the pressure cooker. Then I'm just going to put an onion or so in it, and then I'm going to cook it for 20 minutes. And then after that, we'll add a few other ingredients. All right, now that the meat is done, I'm going to add some coconut oil and a chopped onion into the pot. So we'll stir it up and let the meat brown a little bit. Once it's browned, we'll put some water in, and then we'll put it on to steam for about 20 minutes. Once that's finished, then we'll add the pepper. Right, the meat has now been nicely cooked. I did it for 30 minutes just to make it extra nice and soft so that it's tender. Now I'm going to add some pepper. I have some coarsely ground pepper here. I'm going to put in 2 dessert spoons of ground pepper. I'm going to take some sour cream so that we have a nice creamy pepper sauce in this once it's cooked. I've got a partially used one, but I'm going to put 2 full tubs of sour cream in to make it really nice and creamy. And once that's cooked up, we've got a nice creamy pepper steak sauce. We'll boil it down a little bit to get rid of some of the liquid, so it must still be nice and moist. And I will probably also add a little bit of cornstarch. Stop. Alright, I'm going to make a nice mixture here of cornstarch and water so that I can put that in there to thicken it. So that we'll not only have a creamy sauce, but a nice thick sauce. What really makes the pepper steak pie nice is when it has a lot of sauce in it. And that's one of the reasons why we're making it the way we are. Right, so cornstarch in, pepper, all ready to cook up. We're going to boil that for a bit until it thickens and is reduced. Then we'll leave it to cool, and then it'll be ready to be put into the pastries, and we'll look at that next. Alright, so we prepare the pastry, and I've bought these ready-made puff pastries here from our local Spar. I've spread some flour on the table here so that it doesn't stick. We're going to roll it out. And then I'm going to use this bowl as a measure because it's a good size for these foils that we're using. It's the exact size. So we're going to cut a bottom piece of pastry, and then we're going to cut a lid the same size. We'll put the bottom pastry in, add the pepper steak mixture, and then we'll put the lids on top. First thing I need to do is just to spray a bit of spray and cook or non-stick, whatever you have, in the bottom of the foil, okay, so that the pie doesn't stick once we bake it. And now I'm going to cut out the bottom shell. Here we have the bottom shell. I'm going to drop it right in here. Squeeze it into place, like that. So that's ready now for us to add the pepper steak. And now I'm going to cut another piece of pastry to be the lid to go on top. And so once we put the pepper steak in, then we'll put the lid on top, and we'll show you how to do that once we're ready for that. Okay, now we're going to spoon some of the mixture in here. You'll notice it's still fairly runny, but that juice in the pie makes it really awesome. Okay, our meat is in there, so now I'm going to just put a bit of water around the edges here to make the lid fit better. Okay, and we're going to put the lid in place. I'm going to squeeze it in place like that. And then I'm going to need to get a fork. Okay. And once you've got the lid in place, you can just join it together nicely like that with a fork. Make sure that they engage and join. We now have the pepper steak pie ready to be baked. Before you bake it, remember to brush it with some raw egg to make it turn nice and brown in the oven. And once we've finished the pies and we bake our first batch, we'll show you how they come. Right, our pies are now ready to be baked, so we're just going to brush them quickly with some egg so that they turn nice and brown on top. Once we've done that, we're going to put them into the oven, and then we'll show you what they look like when they come out. Right, the final moment of truth. The fully baked pie. See, it falls out nice and easy. Let's see what it looks like inside. There we go. Beautiful, juicy pepper steak filling. We're going to taste that shortly and see how good it came.